State drivers put the pedal to the metal as gas prices continue to fall.
We're watching nothing on the Skywatch storm tracker right now, but we are tracking warmer temperatures, the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And former President Trump refuses to testify at today's deposition hearing.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Once soaring gas prices are falling fast. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the average nationwide cost for a gallon of regular is about $1 cheaper than it was in mid-June when gas prices peaked. It's a sign that overall inflation may have peaked as well. Now, this gas station in Oklahoma City was the first in the country this year to sell fuel for less than $3. That's according to Gas Buddy, the fuel data website. While that's still more than $1 below the national average, drivers everywhere are getting relief. Experts say the national average has gone down for 47 straight days. A warning, though, this downward trend could easily be reversed through any number of variables. Analysts point to hurricane season, which could lead to major oil destruction in the Gulf and send prices even higher. The best advice, they say, is to fill up your tanks now. Well, the Kansas Highway Patrol and Cherokee County deputies responded to a rollover crash on Highway 69 this morning. It happened just after 9 a.m. about a mile north of our KOAM studios. According to a deputy at the scene, the 4-door passenger car ended up in a field at least 150 feet from where it left the road. No word yet on injuries or how many people were in the car. Legalizing recreational marijuana is expected to fire up the vote this November in Missouri. If passed, the constitutional amendment would allow those 21 and older to use marijuana recreationally. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to folks on both sides of the issue and has more.
Only medical use of cannabis is legal in the state of Missouri. However, that could change by November. Voters will decide whether to make Missouri the 20th state to legalize recreational marijuana.
Recreational, I may not choose this ballot initiative to pass, but recreational cannabis does not frighten me. I actually am a proponent for having a choice over using alcohol or other types of things to use cannabis, whether it's recreational or medicinal. It all has a medical purpose.
In addition to possibly legalizing recreational use, voters will decide if nonviolent marijuana offenses could get expunged.
I'm for it just because, I mean, I'm doing the same thing that they've got in trouble for. So, I mean, there's no sense in people still having a record as long as it's nonviolent, you know, nothing crazy like a big cartel or something like that.
Others believe cannabis should only be used for medical reasons.
My stance on it, I'm not for the recreational use of cannabis because I don't personally believe that there is a recreational use for it. I believe it's all some form of medical.
Buck says the cannabis regulations in place now are enough.
I like seeing people put forth the efforts and seeing a professional and, you know, going through certain steps to be able to get their med card and try to understand what they need out of the use of cannabis.
Supporters view this as more than just legalizing recreational cannabis.
I think expungement absolutely needs to be part of the process and that we should not have people in cages for plants.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Now, recreational marijuana could also be on the ballot in Oklahoma this November. One group has already turned in signatures for a ballot question. Another is gathering signatures that would mean voters decide on an amendment allowing recreational use. Well, our break from the intense heat extends another day. Chris Warner joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Yeah, it's been pretty decent today. We had a nice start to the morning. Temperatures right now, not so bad. Skywatch Storm Tracker has nothing to show us locally. The closest activity we've got in central Arkansas, just north of Little Rock. Otherwise, it is clear out there, and because of that, it is warming up. 88 in Joplin, 85 Pittsburgh, 91 Parsons, 90 in Chanute. So you got a whole smattering of temperatures across the board, all in the upper 80s to the very low 90s. We do have a bit of a heat index, though, to factor in, but still, it's not extreme. So we're talking 92 in Webb City, 89 in Pittsburgh, 94 in Parsons. So what? That's 3 degrees above what their actual current temperature is. So it's a bit muggy, but it's not bad, you know, all things considered when we look at what time of the year it is. As we go through the day, the partly cloudy skies that we have right now will eventually clear out. We're not really going to get much warmer than where we are now, maybe a degree or two higher. 84 by 8, 76 by 10 o'clock, 73 at midnight, and then check out these overnight lows. And this is the most recent data, too. So this morning we were talking about lower 60s. Check out Burlington now. Forecasted overnight low of 59 degrees, 61 in Garnett, 59 in Pleasanton, lower 60s north, and basically along and north of 54, 400. And then we get into the mid-60s as you go a little further south, but still not bad. It's going to be downright chilly. You might even need to fire up the heater almost. I don't recommend that. What I do recommend, open your windows, give your AC a break, because when we take a look at the extended forecast a little later, you're going to see why you want to give that AC a break and maybe save a few bucks on your power bill.
I wish I could trap some of that cold weather and save it for next week.
That would be great if we could do that. Perhaps if we were to build a dome over the 4 states tomorrow morning and just drop it on us, we can just case that cold air.
Store it.
That's what we should do.
I've got a cold weather box. There we go. All right, thanks, Chris. Former President Donald Trump says he invoked his Fifth Amendment rights and refused to testify under oath today in connection with a long-running civil investigation by the New York State Attorney General's office into the Trump Organization's business dealings. The civil investigation is examining whether the company inflated real estate values. The former president has denied wrongdoing and calls it a witch hunt. The deposition comes amid other legal trouble for the former president. Early Monday morning, the FBI carried out an unprecedented search of his Mar-a-Lago estate. Sources tell CBS News the search warrant is part of an investigation into classified material taken by the former president. On his social media platform Tuesday, the former president raised the possibility that evidence may have been planted during this search. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, an attempt to rescue a beluga whale fails. We look at what went wrong on his journey upriver. And later, we're making s'mores pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Concerned animal lovers from around the world have been closely following news about a beluga whale, one that swam nearly halfway up a river to Paris before authorities intervened. As CBS's Ian Lee reports, officials raced to save its life.
French rescue workers plucked a beluga whale out of the River Seine early Wednesday morning. The 13-foot-long, 800-pound mammal was swimming toward Paris when its health began to fail. When the net got close to him, he seemed aware something was about to happen, but didn't know it was for his own good, says this French official. Just last week, experts spotted the whale making the journey upriver. The unusual sight thrilled locals, but something didn't seem right, as it's far from its typical Arctic home. Of course it worries me. Hopefully it returns back to where it belongs, says this resident. At first, conservationists tried to lure the large whale back to saltwater with its favorite food. But concerns started to grow when they noticed it wasn't eating or changing direction and couldn't survive much longer in the fresh water. So a team of experts made the call to pull the beluga out of the river. But during the overland journey to the sea, the beluga's health continued to decline. Vets say the whale suffered respiratory failure and sadly had to be put down. Ian Lee, CBS News.
A team of veterinarians were escorting the whale on the 100-mile trip when they noticed it was not breathing enough. The beluga was suffering from a lack of oxygen when they made the decision. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
It's National S'more Day, and just wait until you see what we're whipping up. You better bring a few extra napkins.
Get the campfire ready. But first, Chris Warner returns with your complete forecast.
Well, one thing that's nice about warmer weather in, say, August is I remember being a kid in our house right at the corner of 19th and Moffett in Joplin. My parents had a big window in their bedroom, and they'd have it open at night. You could hear the locusts. You could smell the distant rain on the breeze. There's a fan blowing on my dad's dresser. Just think back to those days when the 90s seemed like a much simpler time, much calmer time. And that's how it's going to be tonight, as a matter of fact. Skywatch Storm Tracker, nothing that you see here is actually happening. There's nothing going on. In fact, you got to zoom way out. And the only activity that we're actually seeing is down here in central Arkansas. Our closest that we have any activity going on is around Little Rock. Nothing in our area, and it's going to stay that way for a few days. So the only problem with that is it means it's going to warm up. So let's go ahead and talk about right now and into tonight. Now, there's a big cloud that is blocking the sun at 7th and Range Line, so it looks like a scene out of Independence Day, like an alien spacecraft is parked over the city of Joplin, but that's not the case. Don't worry. It's just partly cloudy skies. And under those partly cloudy skies, it's not too bad. I mean, for August 10th, it could be worse. It's 88 with a light north breeze. Feels like 92, because that dew point's up there, 69. That's how it is across the area. So over in southeast Kansas, it's a pinch on the warmer side. Say Neodesha, Parsons, both at 91. Oswego at 88. Independence, 87. Not bad. 81, cool spot in Nevada. 85 in Stockton. It's looking pretty good across the area. Again, for August 10th, don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting the fact it's hot outside. Believe me, I get it, I know it is, but it's not as hot as it usually is, so we'll go with that. And tonight, it's going to be really nice. The clouds will eventually clear out, give us clear skies through the afternoon, late afternoon and into tonight. 90 by 6, 84 by 8, 76 at 10, 73 at midnight. And then this is what I really want to show you, is these overnight lows. It's going to feel like October outside, especially in our northern counties. So we're talking Burlington, Garnett, Pleasanton, Butler, Fort Scott, Nevada. It's going to be chilly. I mean, Burlington and Pleasanton, overnight lows possibly in the upper 50s on August 10th. Let that sink in for a minute. So this is the night. Open your windows, give the AC a break, because this night won't last forever, because it's going to get hot again. So we go through the night, most of us dipping off into the mid-60s, lower 60s for overnight lows. Temperatures shoot right back up tomorrow into the lower 90s, and then they'll start to get really toasty over the next few days. So heading through the rest of the day today, as we mentioned, lower 90s for a good chunk of us, upper 80s. And here's the deal, Skywatch, the future track here, is not broken. There's just no activity to show you right now on this thing. Now, as we head into tomorrow morning, again, nice and chilly, and we'll take a longer look down the road as we go through time. Those cold airs, maybe some passing clouds on Thursday, warm temperatures, warmer than they are today, and then we get to the 7-day forecast. So let's take a look. And this is what I meant by it's going to warm up. We'll get to there. All right. So tomorrow, a little bit warmer than today. Friday, definitely warmer than today. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's why I'm saying give your AC a break tonight, because this is the last good night it's really going to get for a break before we head back into the triple digits for afternoon highs as we start next week. But there's one saving grace. Like what we just saw yesterday, where it had been hot and then we got the rain and it cooled down, we're going to see that possibly repeat at almost the exact same time next week. We go into Tuesday, yeah, it's 101, starting the day at 79, by the way, nice and toasty. And then the storm chances build in, and they increase for us on Wednesday, but look what they do to the temperatures. It's an 11-degree drop. So we get storm chances again. We get through this nastiness, and then we get some storm chances, and then the temperatures drop back into the lower 90s. So yes, the 90s are hot, but not nearly as hot as 104 degrees. We just have this little pattern of some hot weather, rain, a break, hot weather, rain, a break. And that's a pattern I think that we can live with compared to what we dealt with in July. So not bad overall, to be honest with you. I mean, because remember in July, we went, 2 weeks of nearly every day being at 100 degrees, no break, no cooler evenings, no rain. But now we're getting into, yes, there's triple digits on there, but then we get a break. Yes. We got a break just yesterday as well. So it's a little bit more of a breathable pattern here.
In the meantime, enjoy these low temperatures
tonight.
Tonight,
like I said, it's going to be almost like October for some folks.
We will take that part.
That'd be cool.
All right. Thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Private First Class Joe Willis in the U.S. Air Force and Army. The Deerfield, Missouri native joined as a member of the medical unit serving at both the Pensacola Air Station and at Fort Rucker in Alabama in the 1940s. Willis earned the Expert Rifleman Award and Good Conduct Medal. To Private Joe Willis, we thank you, our four-state hero. You'll feel like you're gathered around a campfire when you serve up today's dessert recipe. Howard shows us how to make a toasty s'mores pie in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
If you love the combo of toasty marshmallows, melted chocolate, and crispy graham crackers, then today's your lucky day. Yup. It's officially National S'mores Day. a day to celebrate all things s'mores, like we need an excuse to eat them. So today, I want to share an easy way to get everything we love about s'mores in the form of a pie. We start by combining some graham cracker crumbs along with a bit of sugar and melted butter. We set that aside and we mix together a package of instant chocolate pudding and some milk. Once this thickens up, we fold in some whipped topping, which makes it nice and creamy. This goes into a store-bought graham cracker pie crust. Then we sprinkle on the crunchy topping and finish it off with lots of mini marshmallows. And since a s'more isn't a s'more unless the marshmallows are toasted, we pop this under the broiler just long enough for them to get golden brown. After it cools, you have everything you love about an ooey gooey s'more in the form of a pie. So stop whatever you're doing and go over to our website so you can make our toasty s'mores pie as soon as tonight. And while you're there, check out our s'mores-inspired recipes. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found s'more tasty ways for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
We can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
All right, so after a very pleasant start today, it's going to get into the lower 90s, and then we start a warming trend as we head into the weekend. Temperatures pushing the lower 100s as we start next week, but we do have some rain chances by Tuesday that might help cool us off just a bit.
All right, well, coming up tonight at 5, it's the most common tick-borne disease in the U.S. In Health Watch, we look at a new vaccine that could prevent Lyme disease. Plus, Carthage Catholic School St. Anne's teams up with Notre Dame University to improve its bilingual education programs. And new additions are popping up at the Barton County Memorial Park. Find out what's standing where the old county hospital once stood. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5.
Some certainly interesting stories coming up at 5. So it gives me a reason even to stay up that late.
Yes, that's true.
I try to go to bed at a good time. Doesn't always work. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon.
The rest of the team will see you right back here at 5 o'clock.